Hey, what's up? It's Roland. In this video, I'm going to show you how I go through and address many of the issues that I found when I was troubleshooting some indexing issues we were having in Google on our sample site here, Legos in my Louis. This video, I'm going to kind of have to pause it a little bit and restart it, so it'll be a little weird like that. I'm probably not going to get to everything in this video. I might make a second video with some follow-up items that I just forgot as I was going, or identified late after as kind of secondary fix items maybe. As well as this video might be a little bit longer, so I'm going to move actually pretty fast in the video, and so if you need to rewatch it, please feel free. But yeah, I have to kind of move as fast as I can in order to keep this video from getting too long. So thanks for being here, and right now I'm at the login screen for the WordPress site, our sample site, Legos in my Louis, and I have the username and password saved right here. But I want to add in a few tips as I go along in the video, just little things that I do and notice. One of the biggest things for Google to crawl your site and rank your site is that your site is consistently up. It has good uptime. That your site's always functioning properly when anyone would try to use it. That stuff's important. So right here, I'm noticing that the owner of this website gave me their username, and it's the default username, which instantly is a security vulnerability, because now any sort of bots can come in and try the default username with a combination of passwords and eventually possibly break in through there. So you always want to get rid of the admin username and put your username of your own there, something custom, and then your own secure password as well. So I just wanted to say that. Also backups, so if something does happen, you can easily restore rapidly from a backup, perhaps before the Google crawlers even come back and notice that your site has been compromised. So think about those things. Make sure you do that. WordPress.com has a backup solution called VaultPress. Just Google WordPress VaultPress. It's very, very affordable, and it enables automatic backups and restorations if needed. Okay, and so here we are in the dashboard, WordPress dashboard. You should be familiar with this if you're watching this video. Your site should also, or your sites you work on should also be in WordPress. And so I want to start this video out by doing the first thing that I did while I was troubleshooting, and that is do a site search in Google for our site, so we can identify the main issues we're seeing in the index and kind of try to attack those straight on. So here's where we've done the site query with the URL. And it's only showing results from this site. And so I wanted to address a few things on here. We have these archive pages. A lot of these things are as a result of the settings not being set up correctly in the WordPress SEO plugin. So right here we have this Yoast plugin. And unfortunately, looks like the owner of this website installed it, and she's using it on maybe a per post or per page basis, but hasn't set the general settings or the titles and meta or some of the other stuff down here. So that's right where I'm going to start on her site, and since it's so new, I'm just going to set kind of the general settings that I know. And so I'm going to click into there, and we have this SEO tab, and there's some things you can put in here. Site name, alternate name. These are kind of SEO things that you would optimize for. You can put these in here. I don't always do it, but definitely utilize those if you can. So the main area I want to make you first aware of is not the general tab, but more the titles and meta. That's kind of where all the crawler settings kind of live. If you notice that you are setting settings and they're not taking effect, like you straight up see them not working, like your titles aren't what you set in the Yoast title, then you can try this. But otherwise, you don't need to be too concerned here. You can select a different separator if you want. That's just the little separator up in the title there. And so for homepage, that's usually set on the actual homepage, but since she has her site set up as the blog on the homepage, it's being set right here. So those settings actually come from, if we go down to settings and then general, and I'm going to open that in a new tab just so you can see where that's pulling from: site name, page separator, which is you set on the general tab, and then the site description. So we have site title and site tagline, and so this is why her title tag's too long right here. And this is actually the site description. That's what it's talking about here. So I'm going to keep moving through these until I know I need to take action. So basically here we have what I'm going to focus on is the meta robots right here. And so no index, that means that when the crawler hits that page, it says, do not index this page in Google. I don't want this page indexed in Google. Follow means keep following this page, so go onto it and crawl and look for other links to other pages on my site that you should continue crawling on. So that's a good thing. So it's important. We want our blog posts, we want all those indexed, and we want Google to keep following them. So we wouldn't check this because right now it's set to index follow by default. So, and we want those indexed. So same with our pages, any pages on our site, we definitely want those indexed. So we don't want to check that. Media items, I don't check this one either. Certain types of sites, you might want to pay more attention to that. But where we really get into it is with the taxonomies. And usually I will always do no index and tags, or categories and tags is no index follow, because those pages, when you index them, will cause duplicate content issues, and you'll oftentimes get your category pages ranking above your actual post or actual landing pages that you're trying to rank, because those category pages are so strong because they contain all the content related to maybe the user's search query. So I normally set that, and then tags are just most often misused. It's more for categorizing information, so the user experience, when they hit your site, they can browse and further narrow down. It's not necessarily meant for search engines, which a lot of people confuse that for being, oh, if I put a tag on my article, I'm going to rank better for that term, and it actually, if you don't have this clicked in here, will cause more problems than it'll help. So tags are meant for user experience only. Most of the time, and so we just want to no index follows. I don't even know if she's using tags on her post yet, but they're good to use, but you just want to make sure you have them no indexed. And actually for this site, I'm going to uncheck the no index on the categories, because if you notice, the site is just set up so all the content is on the homepage, the blog is on the homepage, and these up here are actually, these look like maybe pages, but they're actually just the categories. You can see down there, category food, category fun, category contact us, or sorry, so fashion, family, food, and fun. And then one thing I'm noticing right there is that it has that category in the URL there, which is kind of just unnecessary and ugly, and so I might find a way to remove that via this plugin settings shortly here. So okay, so I'm going to leave that no index because I want those category pages to be indexed. I want if you search for lifestyle, so motherhood, 30s motherhood, fashion or family, I want those pages to come up with all that rich content on them and rank there. So that's why I'm going to leave those settings. And so once that's done there, I'm going to save that. So basically all I did was set the tags as no index there. And then archives, this is important too. So here we were having this issue of the author archives being indexed, and we saw that right here on the bottom. So this is all the admins post, and so it's basically just a duplicate of the blog, all the same content. And then we also have, so yeah, that's the author one, and so I'm just going to click no index follow because we want Google to still crawl the post in there, but we don't want it to index them. And you could actually disable author archives, because I know that this site only has one author. Therefore, as a whole, we probably just actually want to disable it, because that, just because you tell Google no index, it still might index it, or it still might be indexed for a while. But if those pages are non-existing, there's a chance that they'll get removed from Google's index a lot faster, therefore giving the credit to the other pages on your site. Data archives, also that's no index by default here. And so yeah, since I checked both of those, I'm going to save changes on the author archives. And then we have, here we go. So on the other tab, it's actually some important settings here, specifically this one, no index subpages of archives. If you want to prevent page 2 and further from any archive to show up in the search results, enable this. So we're just no indexing it again, so continue to crawl and follow it. But, we have that shown. We have that shown on the first page here, where we have page 2 right here. The very second thing is that page 2, and so we definitely want those no index to give all the credit right here. Okay, and so use meta keyword tag, we can leave that unchecked. I usually check both of these. They're just kind of just cleans up the way that the crawler hits your site. You can read more about those if you want. I just check them. And then once you've done that, you can click save on this page. And that's it. And so those are the basic WordPress settings as you run through. If we go and we look back at the first page of this site, we can identify a few more things here. So what else did we see? So here we got this double home page. So this is apparently the home page, but we also have home right here. And so if I'm just going to open this one and look at it, and then open this one and look at it, and see what the difference is. So here's just a page that looks like she set up within Pages but never used and just left there, and Google's actually crawling it. And then here's the actual home page. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to either delete or draft this page for now. We could also set up a redirect to redirect that URL to this site. And so that's kind of how I'd handle this. So I'm just going to go edit this page. And I'm actually just going to, since I haven't talked with the owner yet, I'm just going to draft it. Otherwise I would normally delete it because it might get, republished on accident. And then click update, and that'll go away from the index. And so there's never going to be a page on this URL, so I am actually going to put a quick redirect in place on that one, just because Google has already crawled it. And so I'm going to go down to plugins and add new. And I'm going to do page post re. It's a plugin that I've used for a while now. You can see that it was last updated 2 weeks ago, which is good. And there's over 200,000 active installs and 4.5 stars. So that's a good one to use. And activate that plugin once it's downloaded, and we're going to go down to quick redirects here, and then I'm going to type in home, and then I'm going to use our sample URL like that, and then save changes. That means anyone that goes to that link will end up going forward to there. So if we go up here and click this one now, we can see it redirected us to the actual home page. So that problem's resolved, which is awesome. And we can continue moving on. So let's see. Just continuing on here. Thanks for hanging with me on the video. We're hitting the 15-minute mark. If feel free to take a break or a sip of your coffee or something. We're gonna just keep going here. I could see this video lasting another, but yeah, a good half an hour of fixing these problems. So stay tuned for the good stuff. I'm gonna pause it and take a break myself. All right, so I'm back and I've got a couple things that I want to address here. Two things. It's going to be this doubling of the suffix of the site name. We want to stop that from happening, and then also we want to fix our homepage title and meta description, which the meta description might actually be all right. I kind of like it short like that. But the title is definitely too long. It should probably just be Legos in my Louis. And then if she had a shorter tagline, she could put it there. So I'm just going to make sure that that's not in there currently. So the way that we do that is we come in here and we go back to our Yoast settings and we go, I believe, to, oh, I clicked the wrong one there. But we go to titles and metas where we just were. And we come to our homepage, and this is just right where we set it because the blog is the homepage. If your blog is set up on a page that's set to be used as your homepage, or you just use a page and set that as your homepage, and your blog's on another page, then you edit that page directly to change your homepage title and meta description. So I'm just basically going to go site name right here. And then, so it's going to be Legos in my Louis. And then for the meta description, I'm going to go and just copy this one and just set it for now. And whoop, there we go. And so now that's nice and clean. And so what I can do is I saved it. And then if I go to the site, I can view the source code, which you just right click and go view image. Oh. Not what you do. You right click and you go view source code, view page source. If you're clicking on an image, you'll get a different menu than if you're clicking on like the background of the site. So and then I'm going to come here and look at this WordPress SEO settings, and I see that my title is set as Legos in my Louis, and I can see that my description is what I've got here. It's also down here, and up here, you can see that it's still setting the double title. So Legos in my Louis, Legos in my Louis, and we can see that up here. And so I think in order to fix that, it's actually that first setting, that enable force rewrite titles, and save it. And then I'm going to go to the site and hit refresh. Awesome. And then here we have the title's looking much better now. Let's look at it in the source really quick. And we can see that title disappeared from up here, but now it's being held within the Yoast SEO settings, so we have more control over it. The only problem is that it's pulling from the WordPress settings page. So if we go back into here, although we've got this set correctly, we have to go to WordPress and then settings. And I'm just going to remove this tagline here, and that should resolve it. So if we save that, then we go and we refresh this page and take a look at the title up here. We can see we still have the little dash there, and so that's no good. We definitely want to fix that. So I'm sorry, I don't work as often with WordPress setups where the blog is on the homepage like that, and so it's responding a little differently than I thought. Instead of removing that, I'm actually just going to go ahead and set this for her. And so I just basically shortened her meta description, and at which point she would want to, write a better meta description there or something. But as far as that goes, I'm just going to go ahead and save that, and it'll be good for now, and she'll know where to come in and set that in the future. So that's good. And if we come back here and refresh now, we can see Legos in my Louis, quirks and perks of 30s and motherhood. That'll definitely fit on the one line there, and it actually kind of pulls people in if it says that right here, it's more descriptive. So we fixed that to look better. This won't index anymore. This won't double up anymore now, because if we go to, say, fashion, you can see it says fashion archives, Legos in my Louis. We'd probably actually, want to set this so that it doesn't have archives in there. And then we might even want to remove like this in the CSS, so it's just fashion. And then yeah, so do that stuff, which I could show you how to do real quick as well. We'll see if we get to it. Let's see, the other thing that I wanted to do. All right, so I'm just going to keep moving here as I find things. The other thing I wanted to look into is our WordPress permalink settings. So if we go down here to settings and then permalinks, we can see that this is usually what I recommend almost always. And so down here it gives you a option to rename the category base or the tag base. So instead of category, you could choose something else. But instead of that, I'm going to go down to the Yoast SEO settings and go to advanced and permalinks. And they've cut a bunch of settings in here. They've recently, make sure you're using the latest version because they moved them all around. And so this is an option that I usually click, and it'll strip that category from the URL. So if I'm on the site and I go to fashion here, we can see up here it goes category fashion, which at that point you don't want, we don't want it to say category in there. We want a cleaner, shorter, more descriptive URL. Just having fashion there would kind of already imply that it's in that category. So I'm going to go ahead and click that one. And then also on this page, I usually click redirect attachment URLs to parent post URLs. So sometimes in Google, you'll see images. It'll say attachment ID right here, and it'll link to the image that's contained on a post. But you want those to link to the actual post to try to drive people to read the content on the page surrounding the image and keep them on your site longer than just getting the image or whatnot. So that's why I checked that one as well. I leave that checked by default, and the rest of these I usually won't touch right here, this whole section. And then down here, there's a good idea to clean up the head. Just makes the head section of your source code a little cleaner, maybe easier to crawl, and whatnot. And you can just get rid of all those, and it'll clean up your head quite a bit. Some of them you might want to keep, RSS links and the short link for posts. Those might be okay. So I'm going to leave those on, but definitely these are kind of, unless you're using those kind of technologies, they're pretty pointless. So set those and hit save, and that solves the issue there. And if we actually go to, let's go back to the home page and make sure you refresh so the menu has a chance to reload. You can see now, and I hover over that, it's just fashion. And then it takes you to the fashion archives, and then if we click on this post, we can see that it's set up correctly. You don't want the category in there because those might change over time. So cool. The one thing that we didn't do is put redirects in place. So essentially we'd want to go category and then fashion, and then redirect that to the fashion page for all those categories that we just set, since Google has already indexed them. And just like that, and save, and do that for the other, what is it, 3 or 4. And so I'm going to do that real quick, pause the video. All right, and so I've added all those in here, and you can see the old, how a category was set up, redirects to what will be more of a permanent place for that content, and so that's good. And then if I go into titles and metas, back where I was, right here is where it says archives, and so I can just literally pop that out of there. Oops, and you actually want to go just take out archives here, leave the space, and then save that. And then if we go Legos, back to the site, let's go to the fun category. We can see fun, Legos in my Louis, and there's currently no post in here, so we can go to food and see that there we are. Cool. And so yeah, food nice and clean there and awesome. And if we go to from here, let me expand this menu, sorry for that. And we go to post categories. Here's the categories she has set up, and we can see there's no post in fun, so it really shouldn't be on the menu. But if we edit, say, the fashion one, there's also Yoast settings down here, so we can set a specific title for that, and we should set a specific SEO description for that category as well. And then we want to leave these indexed and in the sitemap. So we could actually probably put yes on the sitemap, but so that's something to be aware of there. If I go into pages, I notice something weird, that she has all these pages published, but they have nothing on them. I checked, these all have nothing, they're just blank pages. And so I'm going to go ahead and also, like, the categories shouldn't have a page in here unless you're trying to custom build that page and then put like a blog roll on it. I'm going to go ahead and bulk draft all these pages. She probably just set these up initially and then realized she could use the categories for the pages. And then so if I go and about us, contact us, those are the actual only 2 pages she has on the site. And so I'm going to go bulk actions, not move to trash, but edit, apply, and then we're going to go status, draft, update. And so down the road, she might want to create, a family page and then build out a blog feed on that, put some content above it, below it, offers related to that or whatever, whatever the goal is there. So now if we go to published pages, we can see we have the About Us page and the Contact Us page. On the About Us page, we want to get a meta description in there. This is our Yoast plugins showing this. You can kind of ignore this. It's kind of annoying, but you definitely want to make sure you get a meta description and a good title for every page. So there we go. That's good. And so just to go test that, we want to go back to our home page and make sure everything's still functional now. Let's go ahead and refresh on the home page. And then let's go to our fashion page. Yeah, it's looking good. Sweet. So I could show you real quick, if you're a little familiar with CSS and maybe you want to leave this browsing category there. Maybe you don't. So I could set that display none on that CSS property, and it just removes it and just sets family there, which is much cleaner. So that might be something I would do just as far as design goes. I also see this uncategorized here, and so I don't know, she must just be setting the family one and not seeing the uncategorized go down below, and therefore not unchecking it. But we need to go to post. And what we could actually do is we could actually go to categories and then uncategorized. She's got 6 posts down here. And we could just, if it's doing this also, you can go screen options up here and get rid of some of the things like tags. We're probably not going to use those. And then focus keyword is kind of gets you thinking in the wrong idea sometimes. And so we don't really need that right here. Boom, and so that's instantly much cleaner there. Now we can see that these are all uncategorized. So make sure they're all displayed 7 items, good. We could also make it display 20 more items per page. But I'm going to go ahead and select all these and bulk actions, edit and apply, and I'm going to take them out of the uncategorized. Oh, so I can't do that actually because they're all in different other categories. So what I'm going to do is edit each of those 6 posts on their own in bulk. So I'll just come in here and click on the 6 that are uncategorized, which is actually where I just was. and then I'll go into edit, and I'm actually holding command on my Mac, edit, edit. I'm gonna just let them all load up in bulk, and so they're ready for me to go in there and just save the draft or save the post after I uncheck the uncategorized category. So they're loaded up here, and I just need to go like this and update and move to the next one. This one, see it says publish, so I just want to save the draft because she's still working on that one. Right here, uncategorized, and then update. And then here's the same, update. And then uncategorized, update. You can see how I kind of turned that into a bulk process to make it only take 1 minute to kind of fix that issue. And there we go. And so another thing that I'm going to do, so now that all those have saved, post updated, I'm going to close out of them because we're done with that, is I'm going to set the uncategorized category as no index. So close out of all these, and if we go to categories and click on no index, or uncategorized, which now has 0 posts in it, and I'm going to set this one to always no index. And it's just talking about the page, not any posts that accidentally get on there. It's just that that category page won't index. And so there we go, much more cleaned up. And so that's looking pretty good. So now we're kind of on to the next thing. All right, and real quickly, I just want to show you now that how this menu is set up. So if you go into menus in the WordPress dashboard, you can see that home is a custom link. It's just set up for the homepage fashion, and these are all categories. And so it's just linking to the category there. So if I pull that up, and those were added via this menu, and then just add to menu, and so they aren't actually pages. So that's kind of unique to this site. Most sites have 5 different pages here just added from the pages menu, but this site only actually has 2 pages, and then it's all content. So they don't actually have about linked anywhere yet, which I'd probably recommend doing as well. But you can see this menu set up as the primary menu, and it's automatically set up to add new top level pages. So those are just some other settings there to make you aware of. All right, so another problem I identified while I was troubleshooting was if we go to the site and we use our Mozilla Firebug tool, and we go over to the console and set it to all, and if we refresh the page, we saw a bunch of Retina image errors, and so it's basically not finding the @2x version of each of the images on the site, which is no good. It's actually an error with like the theme or the customizer in WordPress. Some sort of combination of things is just not working right, and so a WordPress update might resolve this. It could be a plugin conflicting too, but I kind of think it's more on the theme and WordPress side. And so I know about a little plugin called WP Retina. It's like 2x or something. Yeah, this one right here, Retina 2x, and you can see it's very popular. And you just install that, and we're going to see if this fixes the problem. It might not, and at which point I'll suggest a couple other ways to go about it. So we've done it, we've activated it, and let's see, 2x. Is there any settings here? That might have just done it. Oh, here, Retina. So there's under settings, Retina. Might have to generate the images one time. So do it automatically. And so I'm just going to select that one and go ahead and save it. And so that should solve the problem going forward by making sure there's a Retina version there. And I just want to look through these other settings. Looks like there's a Pro version here. So I'm going to go back and search the site and see if that fixes it. I'm kind of hesitant that it did, because I doubt it regenerated all those images. So I'm going to refresh. You can see they're still missing. So literally, the way to go back and fix this would be to just go and find that image and add, duplicate it and add that onto the end of it. And it might not even be, retina ready, but that would solve the errors you're getting here. And then apparently going forward now, since I turned that plugin on, it should, the rest, the 2x version should get created. And so, a premium, this is just a free theme, and so this is problematic of a free theme. If you have a premium theme, the authors have already set it up to kind of do that stuff automatically for you to kind of avoid that problem. So whenever you do upload an image, it creates a retina version of it. So that's when a theme says retina ready, it usually has that built in. So cool. So that's all the time I'm going to spend focusing on that, because that's really specific, I think, to this particular WordPress installation. So not going to focus there too long. All right, and so I spent a good amount of time showing you all the quick things that I would do to fix the indexing issues that our sample site was having in Google. And so now I'm going to show you kind of the Webmaster Tools end. Once I've solved a lot of the issues, I want Google to come back and recrawl, as well as look for any problems existing in Webmaster Tools. And so it's actually called Search Console. They just changed that as like a day ago. I'm going to drill into my site here. We've got one other one on this account. And we can see that some of the data is starting to populate here, but we want to make sure we submit a sitemap. If you want to know why, come read this page on Google support, but I'm going to go back and click on No Sitemaps, and you can add test to sitemap, but first thing I want to do is go and make sure ours is generating correctly. So if we go under Yoast SEO XML sitemaps, I'm going to use the Yoast built-in sitemap to submit. Sometimes I use another called Google XML sitemaps, and that one's developed by this guy, Arnie. And so there's another one that has a similar name that's not developed by him. So make sure you use this one. If you don't use the Yoast tool, this is also a good sitemap plugin. But here we are, so check this box to enable it, so make sure it's on. User sitemap, we want to disable that one. Post types, we want to include all that. Media attachments, we don't really want to keep those in the sitemap. That's just going to kind of junk it up, and those pages redirect to the actual post pages anyway, because the other setting we set. And we just we don't need Google to crawl those. And so then taxonomies, we want to keep categories in there, but we definitely don't want tags or format in our sitemap. We want to try to keep it clean. Normally I would do categories as well, but since we know this site is set up to use the categories as main pages, we're going to leave that. And so we're going to save the changes here, which I believe, yeah, saves for all these. And if we want to view our sitemap, we can click that button right there, and it takes us to our sitemap, which we have our page, posts, and our categories. And you can see you can kind of drill into them there. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL. Well, actually, I'm just going to copy this part. And we're going to go back to Google Search Console, where I just was, and we're going to add test to sitemap. And so you can see why I copied just the back end of that. And that looks correct. You don't have any double slashes in there. And we can test the sitemap, which you might want to do first, but I'm just going to go ahead and submit, see what happens. You actually have to click this button to refresh the page before it will show there. And you can see that it's been was processed, and I think it's still processing. It'll actually give you more data here. Sometimes it happens pretty quick. Sometimes it happens takes a little time, so maybe up to a day. But I'll come back here and check after I run through some of the other things and see if it's done yet. So if I remember. So the next thing I want to do is in here under crawl. Let's just take a quick look and see if there's any errors, and there's not. Good. And then crawl stats, these got populated, so that's cool. You can see it's getting crawled more and more pages per day, which is awesome. And then fetches Google is the next thing that I'm going to kind of spend a little time on. Now that I've got the site configured about right, it's time to say, hey, Google crawler, Googlebot, come check out the site and look at how we actually have it set up correctly now. And so you can do this for mobile or desktop or some other options there. And I'm just going to do it straight from the home page. And you can do fetch and render, and that'll sometimes help you troubleshoot things, but I'm just going to click fetch here. And you can see it went and the status is complete. And once it's done that, we could click this for maybe more info, completed, good. And we can click submit to index, or I could click that back on the other page. And so it's going to ask you just this URL or crawl this, and that's cool. It gives you a little explanation there, so I don't need to talk about it. But I usually do crawl this URL and its direct links. And basically what it's saying is just don't do this all the time. Like, do this after you've made major changes maybe. Or if you're trying to troubleshoot an issue, just do the fetch and render maybe. But I'm going to do this right now since I just did all that work to kind of correct things. And this might speed up the crawlers coming back and or give me more insight in here of things I can address right away. So cool. So if I'm going to go back here, and you can see now that URL and linked page is submitted to index, and there's a stamp on that. So pretty cool there. Robot.text, I didn't focus on that much because we don't have issues here. If you do, go ahead and Google those. Sitemaps, let's see if that's updated. So no issues. I think it's still maybe searching or whatnot. And yeah, so that everything looks good in there. As far as Google Index, looks like the information is not quite populated in here yet. And then the other, we want to look through the search traffic as well. Which this is kind of some new stuff in here even. Mobile usability, so we saw that that's not a problem on the site. And the last area is the HTML improvements, which it still hasn't scanned there, so I'll create another video if it ends up identifying some things. And I'm not going to worry about the structured data right now. If you had a premium theme, this would be a lot more filled up that included schema markup built into it. So yeah, so that's about it. The only other thing you could do is maybe use a ping tool to ping the site. That might speed up the crawlers coming back, but basically we want to give it about anywhere from a day to a week to 2-3 weeks to a month to kind of start to watch the changes take place in the indexing, understanding that we might not see all the results of the actions that I just took for up to 3 months even. That's whenever I'm managing expectations there. I usually we'll see the results in 1 to 3 months, but sometimes it happens sooner than that, and sometimes it takes longer than that, depending upon the site's history and amount of content on the site, crawlability in general of the design of the site. And so you'll just want to keep an eye on this query, and all the problems that I identified should clean themselves up. And so these, I guess one other thing I didn't identify was, we want to set the meta descriptions for each of the categories. So this is that weird like nothing page that's getting indexed here that I turned off, and then for the family category we want to set the meta description. We do that under categories. So cool. So that's basically the run through of how I would go and do a newer WordPress site to troubleshoot any indexing problems it's having in Google. I'm sorry if I moved a little fast. I wanted to keep this video around 45 minutes, which we're closing in on now. And so I hope it helps you. Feel free to ask questions. I'd be happy to film other shorter videos focusing on any specific little things. Thanks for bearing with my ums and ahs, and I really appreciate you guys listening to me. I hope this is super helpful for you. And yeah, have a good one. Good luck with your indexing issues in Google.